You will eat the bugs. Yum, yum. Population control. Yum, yum. You will eat the bugs. We need a great reset. Jawohl, jawohl, jawohl. You will own nothing and be happy.
GM, welcome back to the channel. I hope you enjoyed that intro, bit of a banger here. Now, we're not going to be forced to eat the bugs anytime soon, I do suspect, but in crypto land, I think we are going to be forced to stop using Binance and use a lot more USDC and Coinbase products. So in this video, showing you how the world is shaping up, not in terms of the World Economic Forum, but the World Crypto Forum here. So if you enjoyed this one, make sure you do subscribe to the channel, drop me a comment down below, and we'll jump on in. So a current outlook here on Bitcoin, as you can see, multiple rejections from 31.5k. We have the Blackrock candle down here, and this is a level I think that has a lot of importance on the chart now, around 24.7, 24.8, that kind of region. We have wick below that with the August 18th dump off on some exchanges. But here currently we are trading at $26,000 and moving sideways. If you checked out Eric Crown's analysis from earlier this morning, there are some shocking similarities between an August 18th dump in the year 2015 and the year 2023 here. That was also a pre-election year as well. So he does put together a bit of a conspiracy case on the two, but without getting the tinfoil hat on straight away, what we can see here is Bitcoin moving sideways is more of a positive thing. We haven't had continuation to a downside as of yet. And so a lot of people have been hyper bearish at this point in time, getting very comfortable with the bearish case and more downside to come. But I do think we're going to see a bit of a pump, at least before we do get any continuation lower. But what we have here is the bond market telling us there's more volatility on the way. And every time the bond market has spiked up, Bitcoin has not done very well. It's in fact shit the bed on these few occasions. As we can see, the bank collapse back here in March, Bitcoin absolutely nuked. Off the back of that news, once the bond market volatility started to subside though, Bitcoin starting to pump yet again. Then a more recent rejection here was around the start of July. Bitcoin came up to 31.5, tagged that resistance level, and then we had that bond market volatility come in and Bitcoin rejected once again. Then August 18th, bond market volatility up, Bitcoin yet again going down. 24, 25, somewhere in that region were the levels hit, depending on which exchange you use. Now, as Ryan Selkis posted just earlier, the big news coming from today is that Coinbase have partnered here with Circle, i.e. USDC. Now, I do think this has something to do with the fact that BlackRock is invested in both of these companies. And I think for the future of crypto, you're going to see a lot more Coinbase, a lot more USDC, and a lot more BlackRock-based involvements. BlackRock have partnered with Circle. They are helping to manage their treasury. They also have a large stake in Coinbase as well. They named Coinbase as their regulatory partner, and they're on the ETF application as well. Coinbase is the trusted custodian for pretty much all the ETF applications that have gone in recently. So what we're starting to see here is that Binance is not wanted as the #1 crypto exchange, and there is a new dog in town, and it's getting pretty clear to see that Coinbase is going to take that #1 spot. Long Coinbase, short BNB is a very good trade, and we're seeing more and more evidence towards this. So you have one of the biggest stablecoin issuers and one of the biggest exchanges. Both of these are #2 in their respective fields here, and they're partnering up. And I think they're saying, look, check this for a show of force. We're going to be teaming up for a variety of things. Let's jump into the charts though quickly. So this is the USDC market cap. So this is the amount of USDC issued and out there in the wild. As you can see, it has been nuking here. And this is partly to do with the redemption mechanics of USDT versus USDC. There's no cost to redeeming USDC, but there is a 0.1% fee on Tether. So if you were, say, Tether and you want to play some games here, you could just keep redeeming USDC for actual dollars and reducing that overall market cap, which may be one of the reasons why the chart looks like that, and one of the reasons why the Tether chart does look like that. Now, we're not going to dive into USDT doom posting or anything like that in this video, just showing you that USDC potentially gets a bigger stake in this market going forward if the thesis is correct here. So the Blockworks article reads as follows: Coinbase is snapping up an equity stake in Circle, with the two companies looking to cement their control over the issuance and governance of USDC. And they added this little bit in at the end, as well as associated fee revenues. There's always going to be dollars to be made when you're holding a lot of cash. Further to this, we also have the news that USDC is set to launch on 6 new unspecified blockchains starting in September. So I believe this is going to be the stablecoin of choice for a lot of chains out there, and they're going to start to neglect USDT. That is just my belief. And according to a statement from Circle, it says they're going to be overseeing smart contracts as well as complying with regulations on governance of reserves. So in my mind, this is a bit of a precursor to the ETF being accepted for Blackrock and the continued carving up of the crypto space. They're going long the West, Circle, Coinbase, the Blackrock umbrella pretty much, and going short on the East, trying to cut out Binance from this. And it would seem that USDT is not flavor of the month for the regulators or those big suits. So on screen, we have the coin chart. This is the Coinbase stock, and I think this one is very much a nice long from down here, and also in a good position to pair trade a long coin and a short BNB. If we just pull this out to max, you can see the all-time data on this one, and a lot of people are calling for $500 plus coin during the next bull cycle. And I do think there's a pretty good shot of that, seeing as they're pretty much being handed a large portion of the crypto markets, from what I can tell here. So plenty of reasons to be positive, the Coinbase and Circle news, and a lot of reasons to be more negative on Binance. Binance to shut down crypto payment service amid a refocus on their core products. We've seen them being shut down in places like the Netherlands, Canada, and a whole host of other European countries also. And recently we've had the $220 level of the BNB token being defended quite viciously, but that has now been breached. So what we're going to find out is what lies beneath, but potentially I don't think this is as bad as people are making out. When we have a bit of Binance FUD, you see the cockroaches all come out and start having their way. Hint, hint, Adam there. But it does seem that BNB is being liquidated over on Venus. So there is a huge outstanding loan over on Venus Protocol on the BNB chain with BNB as collateral, which is quite a famous one on Twitter at this point. But they seemingly have been paying this down. So it says this from Adam. So far, it looks like Binance is trying to liquidate this in really small chunks to stave off a larger liquidation, but people keep pushing BNB down to test it further. But he says since it's OTC and they can claim they've already set aside the money, why not just get it over and done with? So this was the collateral position here, 784,000 BNB, USD valuation $163 million. And they've borrowed around 87 mil USDT and 36 mil USDC respectively on there. So it seems there's been a lot of whale pressure and whale games to actually make Binance capitulate and pay down these loans. A bit more information here from the Blockworks Andrew T. He's saying, look, Adam using the word really small chunks isn't that fair. They seized 66 mil in BNB to liquidate around 60 mil in debt. They've also topped up an additional 30 mil in stablecoins today. So 44% of the position is down and 20% more poised at $198 per BNB. He thinks that they're out the woods and fine with this. Interestingly, over the weekend with the drop in the BNB price, somewhere in this region here, when it did drop down, the guy who'd hacked the Binance bridge had also put BNB down as collateral on Venus, and he got liquidated with the move down there as well. Bit of comedy in all of this craziness. And as always, if there's some Binance FUD in town, Corey Clipston here is ready with the gasoline container and a lighter. He's pointing out the fact that as Binance's BNB token has been sold off, the price of Bitcoin has been going down quite steeply. His kind of thesis on this is that Binance have been using their Bitcoin reserves to sell Bitcoin, convert it into true USD, take that true USD, there's the Binance wallet address down there, and with that true USD, then buying up as much BNB as they can to stop it going below the liquidation levels. I do think that this is now kind of a null and void argument, but you can see it's pretty easy for them to chart these two things together and say, look, is this correlation or causation here? But rather than looking at what the chief FUDmeisters of crypto Twitter have to say, I think it's best to look at all the data on chain just to see where we are. So we know that Binance has a $1 billion Safu Fund. Now we want to see how much of this is intact and are they actually Safu overall? Well, they did post the addresses within the article here, so we can check up on things. In terms of the Safu Fund Bitcoin holdings there, they got 16,000 Bitcoins, roughly worth $423 million. Over on BNB chain, they have 1,300,000 BNB. Total value is roughly $285 million. Of course, you couldn't liquidate all that and get that much cash out. It's not that liquid, but they do have 100 mil in Binance pegged US dollars on there. And then finally on their ETH address, they have 100 mil in true USD on there also. So a lot of the FUD around Binance on Twitter right now is about them being liquidated on their Venus position, and this having a massive cascading liquidation effect, taking the BNB token price plummeting below 3 figures. And some people like Corey even calling for $0 for the price of BNB. But from what I can see, the Safu Fund still has $900 million at its disposal. I don't think the industry is about to get absolutely nuked by Binance blowing up here. And I don't think that this actual vault here on Venus is going to cause any systemic issues for Binance. As we can see, they are slowly but surely paying it down. But overall, what I can see from the two opposing news headlines that are coming out here, you have max FUD for Binance, you have a lot of positivity coming for Coinbase and for Circle. And so it seems that the tides are about to change, and we're going to get some new market leaders here in crypto over the foreseeable future. I do think this has a lot to do with the regulatory certainty there will be around Circle and USDC running the show, rather than having CZ and Binance as the #1 head honchos of the industry with Tether. So we will see how this story continues to be narrated, but I think we can spot the winners and potentially losers on the biggest of scales here in crypto from a bit of a mile off at this point in time. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, smash a like on today's video. See you in my next one. Peace.